All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to my podcast on business and entrepreneurship. Now I'm back with Don Hoover from Pennsylvania, the United States, and right now it's in the morning. Korean time. It's we are ready to go to bed. But so Don, thank you for joining us again. And, I really do like the background, BCN this community network, and um, we would just want to reconnect to what we talked last video. And if you don't mind us, Don, could you share what's really in your heart that we did talk the last video, last podcast that we had, and then you can dive a little bit into the BCN concept. So help us understand what is it. Thank you, Don. The floor.
Well, good morning or good evening or wherever you are in between as you're viewing this. It is such a privilege and just a real opportunity here for me to hook up with you, Vantanak, and just share with you what we are seeing here in my little corner of the world and the influence that continues to grow as we contemplate relationships with people. You know, there are several concepts that people contemplate in this part of the world, and they say, "Are you religious?" And I say, "No, I don't want to be religious. I just want relationships." And so for me, it would be relationships with other people that we may have things in common around business or around our um, social engagements or whatever. But I love to build relationships also with other people and with God, where we have these three-way relationships with God and with each other. And so the BCN is something that started more than 10 years ago. And we have just continued to build on the premise that we are to be in relationship with each other and we are to be in relationship with God if we want to make the very most of all that He's put us here to be. My dad had a saying, and it was this. He would say, "My son, life is too short to experience everything yourself. You need to you need to benefit from the experiences of others." And so that's why I do what I do. I'm almost 70 years old. I've been in business for over 40 years. And so I have many experiences that God has allowed me to experience. And I like to share those with other people so that there is benefit that they can gain. And maybe they make fewer mistakes than I did, or just how can I help them in their business affiliation, their business relationships, their business connections, and how can I help them to be better people, whether in business or in their family or wherever they're involved with others.
Thank you very much, Don. I love it the part you say relationship with God and relationship. I'm pretty sure last time we did some talking about manager and leader. It seems like
Yes,
as a leader, we put more of our focus. Okay? Thank
yes,
you very much for helping us understand of also the BCN at work. You said the experience really important because
yes.
uh, sometimes we underestimate the experience we have, but it's very
That's right.
valuable, especially
That's
those
right.
that have gone through the journey before us. Um,
Yes.
I know that right now we have the young entrepreneurs in Cambodia who is watching us. Yes, we can understand English. Hopefully, that many of us can
Hmm.
understand English well enough to understand you, Don. Yes, we wanted to hear more from you about the experience of running business, especially when doing business is not only in the Christian community, but we are
Right.
also work with other people, relationship with people, whether they're Christian, whether they are not Christian. We just want to uh, let everyone see how we run things, right? How we have the
Yes.
product or services. But Don, this has come to something that I really wanted to know. What makes your business standing out? to other, let's say, we are running this in the with other business people.
Right.
From your experience the last 40 years, did what did you learn about how we are Christian? What are we supposed to do? How can we
Yes.
gain trust or build trust, or I think I should put it this way, how are we different from others? I'm sorry
Hmm.
if the question is not
Yes. No, the question's very clear and it's multifaceted. It has many different areas that we could go into,
okay.
but let's just take a couple of them. The first one would be everything that I endeavor to do, everything that I attempted as a businessman, I always wanted to have a scripture basis for it. In other words, why is very important to me. As
Mm,
you go through as you go through life, there are a few questions that are very, very important to lay over or to include in every contemplation. I'm thinking about something, okay, why would I do it? Who would I do it with? When should we begin to do it? What will be the eventual outcome or goal? And how will we go about doing this together? There's so much that can be discussed within that context. So you want to set out your goal. If you're going to go to a certain city, I know that if I'm going to go to Philadelphia, I will not go to the west because Philadelphia is east of here. So I won't know every little road that I'm going to encounter, every little difficulty, every little situation I'm going to encounter between here and Philadelphia, but I will know that my goal is to get to Philadelphia, and therefore I will only take certain highways. I will take certain roads as I drive toward Philadelphia. So when you establish the why of why you would make an initiative,
yes.
why would I do this? Well, it's because our company has very good products. Our company has very good staff. We have very good employees. We have a strong cash position. All of those things. That's the why. Why would we do this? Because we have products, goods, services. We have wherewithal that we have been blessed with that we need to make good use of. So you start with prayer. I would ask for a time. If it was a major decision, a major discussion, I would wait for a time to study it, to contemplate it, to pray, to ask others, to invite other people in to my conversations that were not just we would call them yes men. Not that they sit there and say yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. No, not that. It would be people that would be brought in who would be able to think for themselves. And when you ask them a question, they say, I'm not so sure about that. Let's think about it this way. And so that is the value. The Bible says, in the multitude of counselors, there is wisdom. And that's very true, very true. But you need to be careful that the counselors that you're asking for help from are aligned. Their vision is the same as yours. Their mission is the same as yours. Because if it's not, you will find that in the multitude of counselors, there is confusion. There is difficulty in communication. There's a whole lot of things. So when you're picking people, when you're choosing people to come around you to work in your business or work on your business, it's important that you choose counselors who understand the who, when, what, why, where, and how of your company. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Yes, why is really embedded the wisdom to founding important.
And so that was part one, really just an opening to my answering your question about how is our company different. So many companies are all about the money.
Right, right.
Some counselors will say, well, the only reason we work is to make money to pay bills. That was not the way I operated my companies. It was, we have an opportunity, yes, to make money, yes, to provide good employment for good employees. At the same time, we also had an opportunity to use it as a platform, as a place
Yes.
where we could develop relationships to help people be
Yep.
better people,
Yep.
not only necessarily to make them be more loyal employees, but to help people to be better people because of where we have been and the journey that we have been on.
Yes. Yes.
And so our motivation, part of the difference between one company and another would be what is the motivation? What is your why? Why do
Yep.
you do what you
Yep.
do? Well,
Yep.
we just do it to make money, or we do it to make a big name for ourselves, or whatever.
Yeah, Don, I am also interested in the business relationship. Now, we may, because business running over here and business running in America might be a little bit of different regarding the culture and so and so. Is it really important that as a Christian we have to um, let other business know that we are Christian, or is it not really necessary when we deal like relationship in terms of business with other company, like on the business market? Do people really care of the faith that we have? Do we really have to speak up? Oh, we are Christians, we want to tell you we are Christian, we are doing good, we are
Right.
honest, it's not like what we say, right? It's more like how we do. What is your experience about that? When
Uh, Frontenac, I had so many times when someone would come to our company who did not know our company, and they would walk in there and they would say, they look around and they would say, "What is it with you guys? There's something different about your company." And then they would ask, and I would say, "Well, we desire and we endeavor to live our lives in a way that pleases God." Oh, okay, what does that mean? So that was one way, just by the way we, invited people. I remember one time that we had a really difficult experience with one of our vendors. Like, one of the companies that we would receive product from and then resell it and provide service on it and that kind of thing. And one time we had a very, very difficult problem, and I picked up the phone and I called to the manufacturer, talked to the president of the company, which is a very large company at the time, and I said, "This is Don Hoover calling, and I'd like you to know," I named the company that I was with, and I said, "I'd like you to know that I am very, very unhappy right now. I'm not one that's going to curse and swear and shake my fist and shout, but I'm very, very unhappy right now with something that happened." And again, I didn't say I was mad at the company. I didn't say I was angry at an individual person. I said, "There is a situation that has happened and I'm very, very unhappy about it." And so we engaged in the exploration of what was wrong. We discussed it, and he said, "Well, I believe that we can help." And in 2 days, we had that problem fixed. I spoke to him sometime later, and he said, "Don, we have other people that call with situations, with problems, with issues." He said, "The way you presented yourself that morning when you called me, I moved your situation to the top of our list. You became the number 1 because of the way you presented yourself, the way you did what you did." And that's no, that's no pat me on the back. That is just the way, as a follower of God's provision, God's law, God's wisdom, God's spirit, all of that, there has to be a difference. I
right,
joke with
right,
people, I say, "I don't have any tattoos on me anywhere. I have no ink. But if I did, it would be right here. There has to be a difference, would be right across my forehead, because the way I see things,
right.
the way I think, what
Yes,
I speak, because of my wanting to live by what's in this book,
yes.
I have to be different from those who don't live that way.
Okay.
And so it doesn't
Yes,
make me any better than anyone else. It doesn't make me better than someone else. It makes me unique as it
yes.
regards kingdom pursuit and what does God want.
Right.
And so, yes, there has to be a difference. People need to
Yes,
see a difference.
yes. And
Um, we we w- we went through some very difficult financial straits for 3 years, 1,000 days, and we're just very, very close to being put out of business.
mm,
And I remember sitting in meetings with bankers and attorneys and insurance people and all of this, and I would say, "I am not happy with where we are right now, but I'm going to tell you the truth as much as I know it, so that we were maybe not paying our bills well that week, but we were at least going to tell our bank where we were and what was going on, in terms of cash flow and that kind of thing. You have to be honest. You have to be straightforward. You have to have integrity. You have to give information that is as good as you know to give it if you're going to operate your business in a way that honors God.
Yes. Wow. Thank you, Don. That's character to me. I have learned about the character in people as
That's right.
uphold the Christian values. Character is very important. That kind of build trust. That's
That's
make
right.
us unique, and yeah, that's very good, Don, for sharing character part when
Well,
running
Tanaka,
business.
I'm sorry, but one of the things that just came to my mind right now, at one point, Jesus said, "You are the light of the world."
Yes.
So when I am living my life and I am the light of the world in a given meeting or a given situation or setting or experience, I'm the light.
Mm,
I represent God in that place and in that space. So he also said another place that we are the salt of the earth. And so when I think about that, a light doesn't speak. A light has no words, but you know what a light is for. Maybe it's a light that's going to direct at a traffic intersection, or maybe it's a light that's going to be one you hold in your hand to see the next step, or maybe it's going to be one in the front of the train that would shine, many meters down the road. So lights are all different kinds and types and functions. Salt is the same way. Salt will season, it will flavor, it will melt ice. Salt does a lot of things, but a salt can or salt shaker does not speak to you. And so we are to be like that. We are to live our lives that someone can see the difference. And then I believe it was St. Francis who said, and if necessary, use words. But we start by what they see. We start by
right.
what people observe. And then they ask questions and say, what is it with you? There's something different.
Wow. Thank you very much, Don, for sharing this with us. This is really good to learn when Asian get tough and trust the Lord and make it to and show our character no matter what.
That's right.
Now, now, Don, because of the time I coming in this short dialogue with you, it's awesome time. You're a former business owner sharing his experience, especially when it comes to the time, but using the Christian character, values that we have to let other people. That's very important because we don't just want to please people, but we want to honor God, just like in the Bible says, right? That we're doing this not others, but honor God. And
Yes.
yeah, that's Don.
Hmm.
Let's say for the last 40 years of your business, if you could give us some advice of younger generation of wanted to um, keep themselves in this journey, what would you advise them? I know this question I may have already asked you last video, but I know that we might have some audience right now that wanted to hear your thoughts and wisdom, about keeping ourselves as we are Christian running the business. What are some of the biblical advice that we and or your experience, and then say there are people who are listening to us right now that say, hey, I'm not Christian, but I want to hear how you run your business. um what any things that you have a like bottom lines advice?
I We were talking earlier about relationship, and I have several younger men, a few women, but mostly younger men who have chosen to use me as a resource, as maybe somebody that they respect and listen to. And most of that, incidentally, most of that respect is because I can reach in my memory to things that have happened over the last 40 years and share examples. We share lots and lots of stories. This happened. This is how we prayed. This is how we got together. And this is what we did together to find a remedy, to find a resolution or a solution for a given thing. So when a younger person says, "I am not content just to go and do just to do labor, just to do a task," they want to lead, they want to form a company, um, they want to have an impact or an influence. The last 20 years or so, Vatanak, I was not focused at all on leadership. I was focused on impact and influence. How can what I'm going to do today, how can I influence, how can I impact others, and how can I help them to get on a good journey? How can I help them to get on that trajectory that's going to take them in the right direction, like I talked a while ago about going to Philadelphia? So I would say to any young aspiring person, first of all, get education in the field in which you believe you're going to be
Yes.
eventually moving. So education is important. It's not um, college attendance and college diplomas and all of that are not degrees and all of that are not um, n- totally necessary, but they can be very, very good. There are people that I know that have never had any college. I never went to college. I never went to anything above high school here. So it's not that it has to happen, but it is something that if you're ever going to get the formal education, the book learning, as they say, you want to do that early on, do that when in your teenage years, and then look for a company that is headed in the direction that you want to go. If you're going to hook up with someone else that's already operating a company, find that person or group of people that you admire for their business ethics, for their successes in the past. Maybe it's in a given field that you're particularly interested in. Don't
Yes.
just get a job for the sake of getting a job. Get a job that will help to move you toward where you believe God has gifted you and is directing you to go. Don't waste time over here. Perhaps you have an idea that you can go over here and make a lot of money for a short time, but it's really not in a field where your gifts and talents and abilities are going to be able to be used.
Right.
So that would be one thing that would be very important. Another thing would be as an employer, when I
Yes.
was the one that was bringing people in, I was very, very careful to look for people who were willing to be led because you can't teach teachability.
Right.
You can't teach that. It has to be a
Teachable.
choice. It has to be a matter of the person's will.
Yes.
If I see
Yes.
somebody that comes in there and is really, really arrogant and really proud and this and that, I'm going to be more cautious of them because they are difficult to lead. Doesn't make them bad people. It makes them not a fit for our company. And then another thing, of course, would be along the lines of what is it that really motivates you? If it's always only going to be about me, and I need the hours that I need the job within that your company that I need. I have to do this or I won't work here. Can't work with this person. I won't work with that person. I mean, it's just the whole how is the person we say wired? How is the person going to be in terms of being led or being modeled for or being motivated? We talked about that the last time. Most younger people, especially, will fit into one of three categories. You will model for them, or you will motivate them after they are in the flow and they're getting some things done well and they're showing their willingness to learn, and then to motivate them. I'm sorry, to model, to motivate, and to mentor them. To mentor them, when you get them in the flow, then it's a matter of checking in with them periodically. How are you doing? And
Mm.
how can I help you to do your job? How can I enable you to be all that you desire to be as it aligns again with God's plan for you and with our company?
Mm. Wow. Very insightful. Thank you, Don. Thank you for your helping. I think what you're saying is a great ways that not only Christian business people, but also those that are not, who listen to your wisdom and your advice.
Right.
how we can handle people, especially when some people who come to work they have some kind of attitude.
Yes.
I think it's not only in America but in other part of the world as well, that when
Right.
people come up, need some improvement in terms of their character, not only the skills that sometimes employer look out for, but the character that inside them, I learned in an English class. Actually, it's a business class I studied many years ago, that can teach you skills, but we cannot teach you your character. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Are you familiar with Chick-fil-A? Do you know of Chick-fil-A?
I think yes, the name of a restaurant, right?
Okay.
Chick-fil-A.
It's a
Yes.
very, very large poultry company,
Yeah, yeah.
and I was in a meeting one evening, very large conference, and one of the gentlemen who helps to lead Chick-fil-A was there, and he said something I'll never forget. He said, "When you get to, your high school graduation, you need to already have a really, really good idea as to who will be the master of your life, what will be the motivation of your life, what is the mission of your life, and who will be the mate of your life." Those 4 things, and he spoke a long time that evening just to the youth who were in the audience, and those are very, very important considerations for anyone, regardless of their status or regardless of their approach to life. Those things are very, very fundamental and very foundational toward having personal success.
Wow. Thank you very much, Don. I think we are coming to the end right now of our podcast. And Don, next time I was wondering if I can get your approval and see if you're interested in this format for the next time that we talk. I wanted to see if you're okay with if I have like the young people, especially those that are in business or work or they run a business. I have known some young people who run the business, and maybe they can join us, kind of having like a group talk, and then we have you as like I don't know the word guru. Does it convey any kind
Yeah.
of negative? But you are more like
No,
our
no, no.
senior,
Yeah. Mm.
because you have run the business for the last 40 years. I'm pretty sure that some of us may have interesting question to ask you.
Yes.
And I do not have a business to run right now, but I have a nonprofit to run. It's a nonprofit called Living Water Farm, and I only have like a few staff. But
Right.
to be honest with our audience right now, I am also learning from Don of caring and praying with our staff, whom we are not only the boss, but we are like the leader. Help them when they are in difficult time. So I'm looking
Yes.
forward to engaging with young people, and I'll talk and see if we can have like a few others, to join, if not one or two. So we'll organize this so that we will have a kind of bigger group and talk,
I
and
think it
hear more.
sounds awesome, awesome,
Okay.
awesome. I think it sounds exciting.
Yep.
Perhaps we would need to go more than 20 or 25 minutes with that. I'm not sure, but we might want to extend that out a little bit. But no, that sounds great. I love that type of dialogue. I do that here. I mean, literally morning, noon, and night. I am fielding phone calls and just loving on people and sharing from my
Great.
experience. So that
Wonderful.
would be wonderful. Yes.
Thank you very much, Don Hoover, for taking your morning time to join our podcast. And thanks our friends and families for watching. And we really hope that you benefit, learning and listening from our guest, Don Hoover, the former business owner from Pennsylvania, who has been sharing with us his wisdom and experience in running business. And
Mhm.
we totally understand some of you may not be believers, but we still believe that as we work together, we can give hope and love, support many lives around us, especially when we can
Right.
give jobs to people so they can make income and feed the family. So thank you
Yes.
very much, and we will see you with the next podcast. God bless you. Bye bye.
Thank you, Vantanak.